So I think that is my future for One Piece, little boys and animals.
You should tell people how much they should watch One Piece.
Yes! You guys need to watch it. But seriously, like, Funimation has been re-releasing it into more compact volumes for you to get a hold of if you haven't seen it. There's still plenty of time to catch up on it, and we finally started recording more, but we couldn't until we knew that there was enough interest in it. You know, we don't own the rights to all of the episodes. We just get them in large chunks. So until everything we had been released and they could gauge the interest in it, then they went, oh, okay, time to make some more. So it's exciting because after all these years, we're finally getting to some of the newer characters that are now going to be around from here till forever. A few hundred more episodes. So yes, please watch One Piece. You won't regret it if you've never watched it before. Right here. What first inspired me to be a voice actor? It was a little film called The Little Mermaid. Yeah, it's my favorite movie of all time. It still is. I remember seeing that movie when it came out in the theaters when I was little, and we were late. Have you ever done this? You go to the theater and you're late. You can't drive. You're 8 years old. So it's mom or dad's fault that you're late, and you miss the beginning of the movie. And when it's over, you tell them that you're not leaving. You're staying in your seat, and you're going to watch the part that you missed. So that's what happened with The Little Mermaid. But I ended up seeing it a full second time because my mom fell asleep. So yeah. And it's been my favorite movie ever since. And I would always try to emulate Ariel, voiced by Jodie Benson, and that, like, Ariel's my hero. And so that's kind of where it started. I think I always wanted to be a Disney princess or something, but I never set out to become just a voice actress. I was going to be an actress, and anime was just a little side hobby of mine that I would watch for fun, and I would mimic the voices sometimes. Be like, I wonder if I could do that. Huh. Cool. And then it wasn't until I was watching something like on Adult Swim, and I watched it all the way through the credits and saw that Funimation was located in Fort Worth. I'm like, huh, I live in Fort Worth. And I didn't. I lived in Arlington, but it's the same county. And so I'm like, that's crazy. And then I happened to meet Nathaniel, who was like a friend of a guy I went to church with, and I ended up at Funimation, and then it was my job. I'm like, how did that happen? I mean, it was a very quick succession. I'd watched anime since I was a kid, but in college I got real busy with other things, and near the end of my time in college, I would still watch it with friends here and there. Like, we'd go over to somebody's house, we'd eat fast food, watch Dragon Ball Z, go back to rehearsal. Yeah! It was part of my life, but I wasn't, like, devoted to it. I wasn't spending my money on things, so it was just something that was kind of fun. And I decided that I needed a true hobby. That's something I would spend my money on and spend more of my free time on, and anime ended up being it. And very shortly after I decided that and was watching whatever I could get my hands on, I found out that Nathaniel worked there, and I got the tour, and then it was my job, and then I was going to cons. And how did this happen in the span of 6 months? It was wild. But it does kind of all go back to The Little Mermaid. And I don't know if I will ever be a Disney princess, but I've got to play a lot of really awesome anime princesses, so who oftentimes have more depth of character than Disney princesses. So, that's how it all started, with little Ariel. Yes? Lorena. Which character do I like playing the most? Now, this is a very difficult question for me, so I've narrowed it down to like a top 5, because it's hard. The characters we play, we don't get to play them all at once. Winry's about the only character that's always been there for my whole career. Otherwise, you play a character for 3 or 6 months and then they're gone because the show's over. So it's hard to really compare. This experience was better than that experience when they're not happening at the same time. So my top 5 in no particular order are Haruhi, Winry, Yakumo from School Rumble. I think it's right here. Okay. Let's see. Who's seen a really awesome show called Heroic Age? 12 of you. Great. The rest of you, get out there and get a hold hold of it. It's also on Blu-ray, and it's fabulous. I play Princess Dianela on this really cool show called Heroic Age, and she is like, of all the characters I've played, I would like to be like her. Like, if she were a real person, that's the kind of person I would want to be. Yeah, she's rad. Who else? Miria and Bacano. Miria and Bacano is up there. Phoebe's up there. I think I've said more than 5. There's a really awesome show coming out very soon. I think at the end of this month. It's called Fractal. Has anyone heard of Fractal before? Did anyone watch the simulcast? It's short. It's just 13 or 12 episodes or something. But I play Frid in Fractal, oh my gosh. It was such a wonderful, incredible, awesome experience. And there aren't enough words to describe how fabulous working on this show was. And you all need to please promise me you will go buy it and see it. Please, please, please make Funimation proud. It's beautiful to look at. It's a fabulous story. Please see it. But Frin, I love her. So Frin, Winry, Haruhi, Yakumo, Miria, Dianela, all these women. I love them. Yes, ma'am, in the green.
You play Haruhi, who's very serious and has kind of a low voice, to Miria, who's very bubbly and has kind of a high voice. How do you find yourself distinguishing your voices from this kind of character?
Yeah, just a sec. It's really good. How do I distinguish from one to another? Well, thankfully they are very different, so that helps. Haruhi's voice is closer to my natural speaking voice. Not what you're hearing right now, but it's easier for me to drop down and be lower like Haruhi than it is to just stay up there high and crazy like Miria. In fact, that's the note that I got the most often from Tyler when working on Bacano was higher, do it higher, do it higher. And I started to think, maybe I can't go that high anymore. Like, am I getting older? My voice just won't do that like it used to. So, Miria was kind of a stretch. Not the energy or the insanity, like that comes easily. But, so, you know, also what's really cool about this job is you don't have to look very far to find inspiration for your voice, because it's already been animated for you. So you know, you can see what they're doing and what their face looks like. It makes it a lot easier to figure out what their emotion is, because they're showing it to you. You just have to find the right voice for it. So Haruhi always has that deadpan face. It makes it really easy to drop your voice down like this and just talk like that, because it's what you should sound like. You know? Listen, senpai, I don't really care whether you think of me as a good or and then you just look at Miria and you go, that's just her. Isaac, I have a question. What is it, Miria, my dear? So yeah, that's it. Who hasn't asked one yet? Right there with the wristband. That's your wrist, yes.
Complicated being a voice actress, and do you have any tips for any beginner voice actors?
Complicated? How so?
Like, hard to start becoming one.
Oh, I think any job is hard when you're starting out, and especially any type of entertainment-based job where there's a lot of competition. Someone told me, and I can't remember who this was, another voice actor who would know, that voice acting and voice-over, we'll just call it all voice-over, so not just anime voice acting or even cartoon, but all of it, okay? Commercials, promos, all of that stuff, plus cartoons, is like the second most competitive job in the world after runway modeling. Yeah, seriously, I mean, you'd figure everyone's a runway model, but really there aren't that many, honestly. So it's super competitive, and after that comes voice acting or voiceover, and then you're going to narrow it down even further to something that's just a little niche, a little pocket of the industry called anime dubbing, you know? And the more popular it becomes, I mean, look around at all of you, the more people want to do it, and that makes sense, I get it. So I think that if you're interested in it, you have to take it seriously and understand that it's an industry, that it's a business, and that it's a job. And yeah, it's fun, and it's totally great, and we all love it, but it's not the perfect job. I mean, it's not like the kind of job where you go and you know, I'm absolutely going to have work from now until the end of whenever, and I know that my bills are going to get paid doing this, because you don't, you know? But you can get a really big part, like Winring, that's a big part. You'd call it probably a lead role or a supporting lead role. And yes, I've played Winring for the last 7 or 8 years, but that doesn't mean that every day of the week I'm in recording Winring, and at the end of every week I have a paycheck to show for it, you know? Like, she's this presence throughout Full Metal. But even in, I think, the first series of the 51 or 52 episodes, she's in less than half. Did you know that? Yeah, she's in less than half of them. So it's hard. So be prepared to do whatever you have to also, you know, make a true living. Not that you can't make a living being a voiceover artist or just being an actor, because you can. Plenty of people do it. But get the training. Take it seriously. Like I mentioned before, it is about acting. If you don't know how to act, don't bother trying to be a voice actor. Okay? It's just not worth that. But study. I'm not saying you have to go get a degree in theater or in acting. You can. If you're in college, you could just take like the Acting 1 class, and most universities, you don't have to be a major to audition to be in any of the plays. Get experience being directed by people, wherever that is. If your church puts on skits, do that. That's great. Go audition for community theater. That's cool. Do whatever you can to get the experience of being directed. Start recording yourself at home using just, you know, whatever, a USB mic and your computer to get used to what your voice sounds like when it's recorded, because it's different from how it sounds in your head. You know, and you have to learn how to listen to yourself objectively. You may be like, oh, I hate the sound of my voice, I hate this, that. You know, you don't have time to hate yourself as an actor, because you're going to get rejected enough by other people. So that's part of the territory. So start just learning to appreciate the skills that you have and go from there and build on them. Even if you don't sing, take singing lessons, because you'll learn how to control your breath, which is really important. You'll learn how to use your voice, because it's your tool. It's your instrument, and how to take care of it. There's lots, I could give lots and lots of advice, but just take any kind of class you can whenever you have the free time. Take an improv comedy class. That's totally fun, and you'll learn a lot about how to make decisions quickly and trust them and go with it. Read out loud from the newspaper every day, or before you go to bed at night, to learn how to read, like I said before, to learn how to intuitively know when a sentence is going to end and which parts are important. Like, there are all kinds of little things you can do without paying a cent. So, and then when the time comes, you have to go find representation, and you can't just call up Funimation and be like, can I audition? They'll put you on a list, and maybe in a year or two you'll get called in. You know? And also, maybe it's not the kind of show that you want to be a part of, for whatever reason. You know, maybe it's, oh, I don't want to be in shows where girls are falling out of their shirts. So, it happens, you know, but that's your shot. You know, that's your time to come in and audition. Like, it's now or never, and you don't have the opportunity to be picky, right? So, having an agent will help you, because they will find the auditions for you. Your job is to book the work, but then their job is to bring it to you. That makes sense? So, learn about it. Like I said, it's a business. It's not just a hobby. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not an idealist. I'm more of a realist. So I'm just telling it like it is. In the back, Nuyasha.
Voicing Winry from the first series to Brotherhood, was the experience different?
Not at all. Not at all. It's amazing. She's the same. It's cool because I got to have experiences that were different. You know, things that happened to her in Brotherhood that didn't happen in the original series. And so that part of it was definitely cool, but it wasn't like there's some big fundamental thing that makes Winry's voice different or makes her character different.
I mean, like, you're getting back, like, it's like bringing this band back together since you're big and everybody else is big.
Bringing the band back together. Come on over to the garage. It was, you know, we like me and Mike McFarland and a couple other people, were apprehensive when we heard they were making more Full Metal. When we heard that Brotherhood was going to happen, we're like,